Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. If you follow my channel and you've seen any of my videos, you know that I'm usually very, very critical and of corporate America. However, I need to give credit where credit is due. In the wake of the Charlie Kirk murder, there's been a lot of people who have been fired for their social media posts. In this instance, corporate America is 100% correct. And a lot of people think that this is all about free speech. I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. It's not really about free speech. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what it is about. So let's get started. In order to kick this off, I'd like to share something with you. It's actually jarring. It's very upsetting. And this is one of the videos that been out there in the wake of the assassination, and it's about a minute long. I'm not going to play the whole thing because I don't want to give this creep that kind of, I don't know, attention. But I think it's important that you see this so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me just show that right now as a way to get started. Here we go.
Family. Did you see all that blood that came out of his body? I was like, whoa. To every Zionist, every Christian Zionist, may you be just like that shop, the Target.
Okay, that's enough. Okay. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, that is a demon. That person is evil. And if they worked for me in corporate America, they would lose their job so quickly. I mean, you couldn't even blink. That's how quickly they would be out of my company. That person is a demon, and that is the face of evil. So let's be clear about that. But not all videos are like that. There's other iterations of videos. That one I thought was particularly upsetting. However, there's iterations of videos where people are celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. And here's what it says to your leaders in corporate America. First thing is, not only are they worried about protecting their brand, but when you post something like this, it makes me think, probably makes them think, if you're capable and your moral compass is so lacking that you can celebrate something like that, what other things are okay in your world? What does your moral compass allow? What is other things that are okay with you? Would it be okay to steal? How about exposing company secrets? I might be at risk for that. What about retaliation? What if the company makes a decision that somebody who has that point of view and that attitude, what about retaliation? Maybe they do something that they don't like. What type of risk is the company putting themselves in by keeping that person employed? So those are the kind of things, and it's really not about free speech. And let me just tell you something. In the narrative of everything about Charlie Kirk and everybody saying he lost his life because people didn't like things that he said, that's partially true. And I want to be very clear on something. Yes, he did lose his life because of things that he said. But the real reason he lost his life is because he was effective. And it was what he said, but it was the people who were listening. Charlie was making he was winning over hearts and minds of young people. I'm not going to go way into that, but it wasn't only because of what he said. It was because he was effective. So we'll just leave it at that. Now back to, these people who are being fired because of their behavior on social media. If you're posting those kind of things, in addition to what it says about you and your lack of a moral compass, it also signals something else that you may not have thought about. Even if you agree with all of this, people don't like mean-spiritedness, and it's not too smart of you to go. In what world does it benefit you to go broadcasting something like that on social media platforms that literally reaches billions of people across the globe? In what world is that a net positive for you? It's not. It's not a net positive because people don't like mean-spiritedness. So not only does it show that you have evil and you've got a hate-filled heart and you don't have a problem crossing some serious, again, lack of a moral compass. Okay. It says that, but it also says, I don't want somebody working for me who's that kind of judgment. How could I have them in an important role at corporate America? You might be in charge of, very valuable products or millions and millions of dollars if you're running something like maybe you work under the CFO or something like that, and you're not using very good judgment, that would be another red alarm to get rid of you. You are not a victim in any way. Very, very different, however, and I'm going to juxtapose this against the people at Salesforce who did just lose their jobs. Then I was going to do a video about this a couple of weeks ago before all of this happened. That's what I was working on. And in that video, these are the people who were laid off who are victims. And that's where I will kind of rail on corporate America. And here's why I will rail on corporate America and why these people are very, very different from the other people. I've been there. I've lost my job more than once through no fault of my own. Very recently, Mark Benioff of Salesforce, in an interview at some point, I think over the summer in 2025, had said that AI is essentially not a threat. It's going to help augment jobs and it's going to help my employees be more productive. Well, okay. Very, very shortly after that, he did this. And I'm going to share that screen. Very, very soon after he said, like a couple of months after he said, hey, AI is just going to make you more productive, learn how to use it. He then comes out in September this month, just a few weeks ago. Salesforce CEO confirms 4,000 job cuts because I need less heads with AI. Okay. So again, the title of my video, and I felt it was right for me to comment because I do make a lot of comments. Historically, I made a lot of videos about people losing their jobs and layoffs and everything else. So when all this stuff came up with Charlie, a lot of people got fired recently. I thought about it for a while and I decided obviously to make the video. Now, full disclosure, I really don't know. I mean, I do think some of the approach and things that I talk about on this channel might change, but I want to throw something out to everybody. Obviously, this is a very explosive topic, number one. Okay. It's a very explosive topic, but I want to throw something out there. I hope I get a lot of engagement on this. And what I'd like to do is I would like to invite anybody, any kind of comment you have. If you disagree with me, if you think I'm wrong, if you think corporate America is wrong, or whatever you think, I'd love to hear your opinions and your feedback on this video topic. But what I'd like to do ultimately is I'd like to invite somebody who disagrees with me to collaborate with me. And in the spirit of Charlie Kirk, let's have respectful and productive discourse about our differing views on this whole thing with social media. Should you be able to be fired? Should, a company be able to fire you? Where are your rights? All of that. Or whatever you want to talk about, I'm totally open to it. So please leave a comment. Let me know. I'm looking for engagement. The other thing that I might do, and if you think that that might be more interesting, and everybody that is a subscriber and watches my videos would rather see something like that, we can do that too. I can do a live stream. I've been thinking about doing some live streams anyway, and that may be, I'll do it based on, what the audience would they rather have me do an interview with an opposing viewpoint, respectful interview discourse with productivity and healthy discussion at the core and purpose of it? Or would you rather have a live stream where we can have a lot of people sharing in the chat and things like that? That's what I'm thinking about. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I bought some flowers. I am going to enjoy the flowers, really kind of in a way there, maybe for Charlie. And then tomorrow I'm going to watch his funeral and I'm going to honor his life. And I'm going to be making just a nice meal of, something to share with anybody who would like to enjoy and join me to mourn Charlie, celebrate his life. Again, thank you so much for joining.